Hello everyone, this video is talking about the often overlooked but super simple yet very powerful act of slowing down as it relates to effectively curing anxiety, panic, and any other permutation of that, whether it be OCD, agoraphobia, obsessions, obsessive thinking, obsessions followed by compulsions. It doesn't really matter, but it's often overlooked because it's seen as far too simple and can't possibly solve what many people believe is such a complex problem. But effectively, the cure is this: it's simple. No matter how you're feeling, no matter how stressed, how much of the voice of doubt is raging, no matter how tired, how much panic there might be in your system. You might be feeling a slow drip of adrenaline, a big surge of adrenaline. It doesn't really matter. The simple cure is to slow down. And so, what I mean by that, I mean simply physically slow down. Drop the shoulders, take a deep breath. Some people talk about breathing, but sometimes just one breath is enough. And stay loose in the body. You'll notice that now I'm slowing my rate of speech down. If you're listening to this and you're in a heightened state of anxiety, you might start to mirror me. Because if I'm talking slow, if my body's loose, so again, dropping the shoulders, letting the arms go loose, shoulders go loose, chest go loose, stomach muscles go loose, allowing the breath to slow down. If you're up and about, or if you're listening to this on the go, walking slower to the train. You've got to deal with the kids, walking slower to pick them up, not racing out of the house to get the keys. What that does, it sends a lovely calming signal to the brain that everything is okay. So it's a really important part of the cure. And you can do this if you know why you're doing it. If you're watching this and this is one of the first videos you've watched of mine, you may not yet understand what anxiety is or why you have it. So that can be useful addition. So I encourage you to go and watch the other videos where I talk about what anxiety is, why we should never take it seriously. If you understand that, it takes a bit of the fear away so you can implement with understanding what I'm talking about. If you don't really know what it is and you're sort of going, what's he talking about? Slowing down, just breathe. That won't work for me. It probably won't because you don't really understand why you're doing it. But the brain and the body, when they're anxious or in a flight or fight response, there's a fear response because you're acting as though there's some physical threat around you. A tiger, being chased by someone, being approached by some sort of other physical threat. So if you're able to go loose, slow down, as I keep saying, talk slow, walk slow, stay loose in the body, it's very hard for the body to maintain that stress response because there's not enough adrenaline circulating anymore. The brain is signaled to switch off the adrenaline hormone, the stress hormone cortisol, so you start to feel calmer over time. The paradox is you can't expect to feel great straight away. You need to slow down for as long as it takes, whether that be 5 minutes, 5 hours, a few days. If you've had severe anxiety for a long period of time, you might have to do it for hours at a time. But I would argue life is much better if we slow down anyway. So you might just have to be persistent with it or do it for a period, come back to it as soon as you remember, keep slowing down, and that will over time reset your baseline in terms of how you feel. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So it is a practice that you have to build over time. Obviously, look at your lifestyle as well. If you've got so much on, back-to-back meetings, you're doing everything at home, at work, too many social engagements, or there's plenty of time on your own to think and get worried, you need to look at that as well because that all makes this stuff harder. But again, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you're in a vulnerable position, you're feeling stressed, panicked, anxious, whatever, the best thing to do is slow down. And that is ultimately the cure in its simplistic form. I hope that helped. I wish you all the best on your practice and we'll see you again soon. Take care.